Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone. I don't know what happened, but it took me a lot of time to go live. I hope all of you can hear me well and everything good. Uh, Welcome to everyone, and extremely sorry for the delay in today coming live. I hope that you guys can see me. I think there's certain issues with the internet connection, but they should be resolved very shortly. Yeah, this is fine. So I hope that all of you are good, and I have the results of the uh, cross table over here that happened yesterday. All of us are very, very excited at India's performance at the Olympiad, and a warm welcome to all of you to the 77th episode of Improving Chess. Uh, I was I woke up today early in the morning and was working on my article for the Olympiad, and then I made a video on it, and there were a lot of things that were happening. So I got a bit delayed, but as you can see right now on your screen, Team India is right at the top with 6 out of 6. But remember, the first tie break is 6 points, match points. So India is up there at 6, but along with China and Germany. Now, if these points are tied, then the tiebreak 2 is basically game points, and there India has a 2-point lead basically. So that is why India is leading right now, because we played phenomenal chess yesterday. I mean, the level of chess that was shown was that I'm going to dedicate today's session. Okay, guys, we are back, and I hope that this problem wouldn't resurface. I have restarted my internet. Of course, it's raining heavily outside, but at the same time, I have made an application for a better internet connection, so things will be much better in a couple of days. I hope that we won't face this issue again. So, uh, let me know if everything is fine. Yeah, there will be a lot of noise coming in because there's a lot of rainfall here. So let's have a look at few of the games and learn from it. First of all, I would like to show you the first round that India played. So this was round number 1 that India played, and we beat Zimbabwe. It was a very nice win for India because 6-0, that was a good score. And then we beat Vietnam, which was with the score of 4-2. And then we beat Uzbekistan with a score of 5.5-half. So that is the reason why India was, played scored 15.5. But you will see that beating Uzbekistan with a score of 5.5 is not easy. They had 3 GMs, 2 WGMs, and 1 WIM, which is simply tremendous. So which game should we begin with? What is tiebreaker 3? That is the question by someone. It's a good question. Let me just check. Tiebreaker 3, I think maybe the direct encounter they would see between the two teams. So perhaps, but right now it's not updated yet, so we don't know. But which game should we look at? That is the question. I have some very interesting game, and I want to start off with one of Harika's game, if you don't mind, because that was a game from which I personally learnt a lot. And it also talks about how at the highest level also there are certain mistakes which are made, which not many people understand. They make these mistakes. These are of very subtle nature. So let me just get that on the board, and you can see today I've come a little bit more professionally. So you can see it this way. Also, I was hoping that Samay would join in, or Vaibhav has said that he would join in from Tuesday. Biswa has said that he will not wake up. So that's the thing. Vishy ka dikhao. Okay, we'll see Vishy here. And we'll see Nihal's game as well, of course. So first, let's have a look at Sarvinos Kurbunboeva. By the way, she is very strong. Her rating rapid is 2129, but she is around 2300 rated. She's a WGM. And so we begin the game with d4, d5. Let's take black because Harika is black. c4, e6, knight c3, and bishop b4. And this is known as the Ragozin. Now, remember how to remember the names. For example, you play knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, and bishop b4 without early d5, then that is known as the Nimzo Indian. But when you play d5 and then bishop b4 and then knight is on f6 or not, but basically she did develop the knight on f6, we reach Ragozin position because d5 has already been played. So bishop g5, h6, takes, queen a4 check, knight c6. And now here, all those who are watching this, can you tell me what are your thoughts about this move knight e5, and what would you play here as black? Do you think knight e5 is a good move? Otherwise, what is your move here as black? Thank you, William Figueredo. Very kind of you. Vishy's mouse slip? I don't think there was a mouse slip by Vishy. Really? Did he say that? I'm not sure. Yes, of course. Today it's going to be on Adiban's channel for sure. Yeah, by the way, if knight into c6, then the bishop on c4 is b4 is hanging. So you have to be careful. So do you think knight e5 is a good move? Yes. Okay. What a day. Well, the problem is that here in the opening, always remember you shouldn't move the same piece twice. Knight e5 would be a pretty bad move. This is what top level players shouldn't do. She should have just played e3, bishop e2 and castles. But she went knight e5 and she thought, look, this is a pin. I'm going to take this. And after I take this, I'll take this bishop. But Harika was like, I will castle. Simple move. This was a very nice move because after knight into c6, there comes an intermediate move, bishop into c3. And b into c3, b into c6. And now I want you to assess this position. How does assessment work? First of all, you have a look at the material. You see that the material is kind of equal. Yeah, no one has an extra pawn or a piece or anything. Then you look at the pawn structure. If you look at the pawn structure here, you will realize that black has doubled pawns, which is not good news. But at the same time, doubled pawns give us something very special. I'm going to ask you in the chat, what is it that doubled pawns give you as an advantage? What is it? Vidit already spoke about this position yesterday in the live show. Yes, that is true. But there's so much that you can learn, that you must not move your piece twice in an opening. Very good, excellent. All those who are here who said open file, fantastic guys. You are absolutely right. That black has two open files, and she's going to use these two open files for her rooks. And you see, after e3, I want you to find out what is the best move for black. Now, black to move, try to think here, what should black play? How should black play in this position? And you know, these are the games which have been played at a very short time control, 15 minutes each. If you play classical games, you may find more accurate games, but here in rapid, speed is of the essence. I would say that rook b8 over here is a possible move that Ilamparthi mentions. But what Harika did, let's see, queen g6 is what Harika played, and a lot of you have mentioned attacking g2, stopping development. By the way, if you play a move like bishop d7, then white will go bishop e2 and castles. That is the thing. Now let's try to see if Ilamparthi's rook b8 makes any sense, because rook b8, the idea is to go rook b2 and threaten a checkmate here. Seems very good, seems very powerful. What can white do here? Let's try to think what is a good move for white in this position. After rook b8, how should white try to defend here? You know, the position is, let's say you go bishop e2, rook b2, maybe Ilam Parthi, I want to play queen a3, because queen c2, sorry, this queen is on f6, queen g6 is not possible. I'm attacking your rook. You can go rook c2, but then I'll try to go rook c1 and I'll try to exchange. Somehow, you see, the move order is very important in such a position. You cannot really just play. Also, yeah, queen c2 might be a better idea, but then maybe bishop f5, yeah, bishop d3 is possible. So that's why a very right approach was taken by Harika, that she saw that this diagonal is critical. These are the moves which are very important. And you know what you should think is, if my opponent is going to develop a piece, how to prevent it? Attack this pawn. Rook c1, and now how to continue? Black to play. By the way, yeah, for sure. I mean, rook b8, bishop d3 is also pretty good. Rook b2 castles. Even this should be completely fine. But let's see. Queen g6 was a nice move. And now rook c1. I want you to find the move for black. Very good. Very good. Rook b8. And now you're going to jump in with your rook to b1. It's an amazing rook. And you can't develop because this is hanging. Sorry, this one is hanging here. And you can't play queen c2 because then I play bishop f5. I'm just completely dominating the position. So c4 was played. And now Harika played rook to b1. Well, if you play g3 here in the position, if you say like here, if you go g3 instead of rook c1, maybe you want to play, then also you will see that these squares are extremely weak. If you're going to play bishop g2, I can anytime jump in. I think I would continue rook b8 nonetheless with rook b2 threats. This doesn't look good at all. Why not c5 after e3, says Dev. Dev, if you play c5, what's the idea if I play bishop e2? So that's the thing, you know. You need to stop opponent's development. That's why queen g6. And now c4, rook b1, queen d1, bishop g4, developing with the tempo. Always, you know, many times we think we can slow down, but when you have a better position, you must develop with a tempo. Now let's see if you guys can continue the active play. This is black to play. What should black play? Rohan, if you take the pawn on a7 over here, sorry, in the last position where you were mentioning this one instead of c, that means the queen is just misplaced. I will enter here and you are in big trouble. What is the queen doing here? For one pawn, it's like eating something that you cannot digest. So queen went back, bishop g4, and now, very good, all those who said rook fb8. And you will see that in just 16 moves, look at black's pieces and look at white's pieces. And white has the first move in the game. Yet, she landed in such a bad position. Why? Because she just did not adhere to one simple principle, which was don't move the same piece twice in the opening. And here she didn't do it twice, she did it thrice. And that's why she was behind in development and it cost her dearly. Now, the point is, if you take the bishop, I will take on c1, queen c1 and rook b1, pinning the queen, and that is game over. So rook b1, queen d1, bg4, rook b8. She played king f2, Harika jumped in, bishop e2, and now bishop f5. Threatening a very simple move, bishop d3, attacking the pinned bishop. You can't take with the queen because queen takes and the bishop is pinned. So rook e1, rook c1, queen c1, rook c2, and that was over. Queen a3, she pinned. You see this? Queen a7, take a pawn, take another pawn, and now came the move c5. Can anyone tell me what is the idea of this move c5? White just took the pawn. Why was this played? Black to play. Black to move here. How would you continue? After this, we'll have a look at Nihal's game. Very good, guys. All those who mentioned d into c5, queen a6, excellent job. Excellent work. Queen a6 came in and the bishop is lost. What a game by Harika. You know, you can't defend that bishop as well. But it all started with that opening error and then she kept at it. All her moves were very, very purpose oriented, resolute, and she was right there. You know, she was very, very alert to all of opponents' possibilities. Very good. I'm very happy with the chat. Everyone's very focused. So that was a win for Harika. And let's have a look at Nihal's game, as you all said, because Nihal, crazy player, yeah, crazy guy. He was just completely lost. So Nihal was playing against Nguyen An Khoi. Okay. Yuan An Khoi was playing with the white pieces and Nihal is black. By the way, Krishna says, can you make a report as to why more chess players are not given sports award, like still Vidit has not got the Arjuna award? Yeah, this is something I'm working on since couple of days. I'm writing a report on that. It's very depressing to see the current state of affairs for chess. Um, it's been nearly 7 years since a chess player has got an Arjuna award, and the last one was in 2013. But after that, Vidit has crossed 2700, Adiban has crossed 2700, Sethuraman has won Asian Championship, Padmini has won Asian title, she's won an Olympic medal, she has won national championship 4 times. I mean, so many things have happened, yet no one is being given Arjuna award. And this is something we guys have to work collectively towards, that these people should get something, here. So maybe a small petition on that front is what I'm planning to launch, so that these people do get the award. Okay, so Nihal is black, white is Nguyen An Hoi, and Nguyen An Hoi is the current Asian Junior Champion, 2 times World Youth Champion, very strong player. So it was the Slav. Queen b3 takes. He'll try to go through the opening. Both players develop their pieces. Nihal plays knight e4, knight f6, f3, and the opponent gets this very nice center. Now taking here does not seem good at all, because I think there are many possibilities. I guess even queen c4 is a very strong move, and then you're going to lose this knight in this position. So that is the reason why Nihal went back. Now I want you to think here and try to figure out what would be the move that white should play. Let's try to think. White to move. You are facing Nihal Sarin, who is a very strong player. How should you continue? Manusha, Sagar Bhai OP, best person on and off streams. Very happy to see chess community growing. Follow all your episodes. Hope you remember me. Manush, are you the strong player from Ahmedabad? Yes, I like this move very much, which was Rook F to B1. I mean, it's very difficult to play these moves if you haven't studied this opening. But if you have studied, you will realize that this rook needs to remain here so that you can push the pawn, while this rook puts pressure on the B7 point. He went Rook D8 and now A4. Look at how Nihal is getting cramped slowly. All the white pawns in this position make Nihal's position very, very cramped. Bishop f8. Nihal is waiting. Bishop f1, and now white is slowly even thinking that he might go c4, attacking the queen, and then c5 with the queen protected here, because then queen e6 doesn't pin the pawn. Queen a6. So e5 was played, and now queen f2. Takes, and here queen had to move to h5. And when the queen moved to h5, white said, I'm going to simply pick up the pawn. And when I was commentating live, I thought Nihal had some trick. I thought he will go knight c8, and then after picking up this pawn, he may take on d4. The point is, if I take on d4, you will pin me like this. I thought this is what Nihal wants to do, at least recover a pawn. But here, there is a big problem. What should white do here? Try to think. White to move. Not an easy move to find, but let's see how many of you are alert. Spielwolf, usually when your opponent has a strong center, you must break it with e5 or c5. But in this position, Nihal did not do it because he understood that if he plays c5, it may open up the bishop on g2, the entire diagonal. So it's not easy sometimes to play e5 or g5. If the e5 or c5, if the opponent doesn't get counterplay, you should play it. Very good, guys. All of you who said the move g4, I'm so proud of you. g4, because now if the queen moves away somewhere, then you remember we can pick up the rook, because bishop c5 doesn't pin anymore, because the queen doesn't protect the bishop on c5. So he has to remain on this rank. Where does he go? If he goes to e5, by the way, if you play bishop e3 here, the rook will just move back, and although white is clearly better, still, I mean, black is fighting. But here you are winning material. Let's say if you go queen c5, bishop e3 is just winning for white. And if you go queen e5, then bishop c3 is winning for white. You see this way. Okay, black can go bishop c5. And now comes another powerful move, knight to d3. Rook d3, bishop e5, bishop f2, king f2. And now look at this position. Although material is still even, the rook is hanging. The bishop is very powerful. This bishop is locked out of the game because of these pawns. This pawn will go to a6. This is a weakness. The rook will join in. Nihal can already resign the game. It's so bad. It's so bad. And so Nihal understood that he shouldn't go for the pawn. He went knight d7. But then just rook took the pawn. And I was like, what? Nihal is a pawn down. Opponent has this amazing center. And his opponent is no easy guy. Yeah, he is a very strong player. So after knight f6, bishop e3 again. Just coordinating everything, keeping everything safe. And this was just losing. This was just losing the game. And now rook d7, he took. Knight went to d3. And now queen g6 was played. So Nihal was somehow just making his moves. He was hoping some miracle would happen. And rook b1, queen e6. White is a very aggressive player. He moves in. Knight f6. Knight f4. And now queen c8. a6. By the way, all those who say knight c2, you are also right. I think it's a strong move. And Manush says, convey my thanks to Samay and comedians Anish Raja for making chess grow. Chess is so much fun when you all stream. By the way, Manush is a very strong player from Gujarat. His rating is close to 2400. So very nice to have you, Manush. Knight e8. And now bishop jumped from the other side. And here, white to move. Try to think what would you play here as white. Many moves. Try to think. What should white play here? Yeah, I mean, white is completely winning. It's like, when you're playing this higher rated opponent and you have completely got him on the mat, but at the end of the day, you cannot convert. That is just, the feeling is so horrible. Very good. All those who said well, d5 first of all is a fine move. So there are so many good moves here. Rook d7, d5 also not bad, because you look what happens after d5 is that after takes you can just put your knight here. It's so beautiful. The knight is so beautiful, the rook is so beautiful, the bishop is, everything is just perfect. This pawn is hanging, this pawn is just 2 squares away from queening. How can a grandmaster lose such a position? So I would say d5 is a fantastic move. Also rook d7, all those we mentioned, it's a possible move. It just allows black to get a little active with queen a5, which we don't want. This game was 15 minutes plus 5-second increment. So here rook into f7 was played by Anand, and Nihal must have calculated, okay, if I take, what is the problem? And he saw, can anyone tell me what is the problem? White to move. Today is Ganesh Chaturthi. Okay guys, happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Somehow in this lockdown every day looks the same, and nothing much is different, so it's very difficult. I mean, every day is like a celebration of chess, so you feel like a chess festival. But yeah, today is the Ganesh festival. Can anyone write till the mate, like queen a2 check, king f6? How does it continue? Go till the mate, go till the end. This was really an amazing, actually this game changed India's fortune yesterday, because if Nihal had lost this, where he was very close to losing, bishop e6, all those who said bishop e6, well, the point is that after king e7, it's not so easy to checkmate your opponent. Where's your next check coming from? So therefore, queen a2 check, very good. All those who say queen a2, now remember, if king e7, this is a mate. Remember yesterday's class, there may be many options like king e7, queen f7, king f6, but once you look at it carefully, you will see this is out. So you have to go to king f6. And now check, king g5, and now what do you do? Many ways to win. Yeah, many different ways. Although it's not a very good question to ask, because there is a discovered check coming from here. So you move the knight anywhere, it could even have moved here, king h5, and now there are two moves at least I can see to mate, queen g4 and bishop g4, and yeah, it's a checkmate. So Nihal was like, okay, one pawn down already, another pawn gone, let's move the rook. He just moved his rook, and now came another powerful move. I think here Anand got a little bit complacent. I think if he was in his best form, he would have found a good move here. So your move here, white to move, and what would you do? White to move, what do you play? Because remember, if you're facing a player like Nihal, you must finish him off when you have pinned him on the ground. If you don't finish him off then he's going to come back at you. So be careful. Aditya Naidu, how can I bring Nihal today? He's going to play for the country, and you want me to bring him on the show? Very good. All those who mentioned the move knight e6, fantastic. You guys have learned the art of making the best move in the position. So let's say he goes queen a5. Now what happens next is that you exchange two pieces, take, and then You just go for the move, I don't know, just bishop f1 or d5 is also strong, but I would say just bishop f1, defending this pawn. This bishop is sort of shut down here. This knight is not jumping anywhere. You are 2 pawns up. It's game over. Here Nihal could not have tricked his opponent in any way. But that's what I say, that when you are not alert and when you decide to make moves like rook d7, just it's a good move as well. But then Nihal played queen a5, and now still knight e6 should have been played, but he went queen b2. How can a grandmaster make a move like queen b2? Tell me, guys. Any explanations do you have? He also had time on the clock. I remember it was not like he was down to his last seconds. Black to move. What should black play? Black to move here. Well, pawn Subhash Raj, yes, mate is good, but I don't think there was a clear mate. And if you can get into an endgame with 2 pawns up with no risk, that's like mate. Yeah, that's like just deferred mate. It's delayed mate. Pre-move is the explanation, says Kushal Chess. Mouse slip. Yeah, all these things happen in online chess. I think he was nervous. This is a good explanation. Usually when you're winning, and I think Nihal is considered to be much stronger in online chess than in over the board. He's very strong in over the board chess as well. But when you go online chess and low time, people like Anish Giri have said that he's stronger than him. Even Magnus Carlsen has said that if I play Nihal, there's no guarantee that I'm going to win. So when you see that, that your opponent is such a good blitz player, you tend to get nervous when you're winning because you didn't expect it. And when you don't expect it, you blunder. And so here came in the move queen e1 check, king g2, and Nihal just picked up the bishop. Now, the beauty of this position is white was so better that even after losing the bishop, he's still equal. He still has chances. So there's this very nice variation which I was checking. How should white continue here is the question. So after check, let's say, in the game he played e5, but let's say check, king h8. How should you continue here as white? White to play. Guys, find the best move for white. It's a very nice move actually. And it shows the beauty of white's position, that in spite of being so worse, so much down in material, like a piece down, you can still fight. Queen b2 might have been a mouse slip. He might have meant queen a2. But queen a2 is queen into queen, free queen, yeah. So that is also not possible, Vishal, somehow. There is some unbelievable move here. Arnav Vasan, well done, Arnav. Fantastic. e5, what he played in the game was good. Anudeep Anup, very good. Rook into a7. This move is very difficult to see. But the point is, after takes, I come in and I attack your rook and I attack your bishop. And this is a mate, by the way, guys. If I take your bishop, he has to block, and then I take, and it's a checkmate. So very close to getting checkmated here. Can you find a defense here for black? Is there any defense? He's almost lost. Find a defense here. You know, black has to find an amazing move. Can you do it? Very difficult. I don't think Nihal would have been able to find if his opponent would have played this in the game, but also rook into a7 is such a difficult move to find. Now if you play rook f7, then just bishop into f7. For example, rook f7, bishop f7, knight f7, queen f8, bg8, and this position is lost. You know, I can even push this pawn here, or first just make some room for my king, and then push this pawn. This is just losing completely. Very good. All those who said, by the way, if you play bishop g8, then after queen into f8, again it's lost. How do you protect the bishop on g8? You can't. Yes, I have called him the master trickster, Shravan. Too many tricks. Yeah, Nihal is just too tricky. Here, knight c8, guys. Knight c8. Beautiful move. And what is the idea? If you now take, it seems like you just gave up a piece, but the knight was in the way. So I gave it up in the way of what? To give a check, to force your king here, and now playing. What's the move, guys? What's the move? Black to move. Only move to save the game. Only move to save the game here. What's the move? Very good. All of you now saw why the knight was in the way, in the path here, because the queen had to come here and defend this. So such were the beauty of the variations in this game. This is now around equal. Even though white is a rook down, he is still around equal because he has these strong pieces. He has the pawn. He can play like knight d3, knight e5, knight here. It's too many threats still. Okay, so guys, let's move on. In the game, what happened was Nihal's opponent played e5 and Nihal jumped with knight d4. Now Guan said, let me give a check. So Nihal said, okay, I'll play king h8, and then he went bishop g4. Somewhere he wanted to maybe play knight e6. Now knight went to c3 and queen jumped in. Now the queen attacks here, also the pawn on a7. So rook e8 was played. Yeah, they were with directly queen a3 is also good. Yes, Suryansh, direct queen a3 is also good enough. You don't need to give check and play queen b4 in that previous position. And here white took, and Nihal's real brilliance is shown here. He had less than 15 seconds on the clock, and he saw that this king is weak, squares around the king. So he found a very good move here, knight e2. And the point is, if you now take the knight is a good defender of the king. So if you take, I take with the queen, and suddenly your king becomes exposed. Say for example, you take king h3, queen f1, king h4, and I can mate you in many different ways now. Your king is too weak, while the black king now is safe. So queen g2, h3, bishop e7. This should be winning. So in the game, Guan and Khoi played knight to g6. Okay. Takes. Okay guys, there's maybe a small lag here, but I think it should be okay. Just wait for it. The internet is slightly unstable. Let me see. Maybe it's all okay now. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so in the game now, Nihal played a check. King h3. He gave a check. He brought the king out and king h4. And now, guys, is the time for all of you. Okay, so put your hands here. You know, this is how chess players think. You saw it in the video yesterday. Yeah? They think this way. Even when online chess, they are thinking this way or this way. Black to move. How should black win this position is the question. Black to move. How should black win here? You know, Nihal is completely winning. It was not an easy move to find because when you're low on time, the first move that comes to your mind is checks, captures, and threats. So first you see checks. Nihal saw that there is one check here I can see. I'll give that check. But I also must have looked at some captures very quickly. Not working. But the right move was a threat. Create a threat of queen into h2, and that was a big threat. Let's for example say, what I love to do is make some kind of a random move like take this. Now he will take queen into h2, bishop h3, queen into g3. And that is, guys, checkmate, because after king h5 comes queen g5 mate. So that is not a good idea. Queen g2, what can we do? I'm thinking. For example, what if I play bishop h3? Does that make any sense? No, because after queen into h2, once again you can't take here because I'm going to take this pawn. But can we defend this pawn somehow? No, there's no way. For example, if you play f4, now I will give you a check. And now everything is safe and I'm winning. So all of these things led to queen g2 be the winning move. But Nihal gave a check very quickly. And opponent was like, oh, what to do? He played king h5. Blunder. Instead of king h5, what is the best move here? Guys, try to calculate. Don't just say one move. Try to say, what should white do here? What should white do? There's a check to your king. How should you prevent it? Very good. Rook e7. This should have been taken by Ankoi. I think he was too nervous. But look, the point is bishop f5. There's a mate here. And what does Nihal do? He tries to run. Only way. Then comes a check. Now two moves. King here, king here. If king f7, there comes check. Then if king f8, sort of the only move, then mate. So he has to go king e6. That's the only other move. Now you give a check. Now again, you see, there are many squares, but all of them are covered. So has to go here. Once you go here, you can play bishop f5 check. Now again, king can go here and here. Let's say he goes to c7. Now queen to c4 check. King b6. And there comes the move queen to b4. And before you know it, this game is all over, folks. Queen b4, the king has to take on a6, and bishop c8 is a mate. Time was very low, yes, I agree, but just to show you that how the position was so tense. Bishop c8, rook b7, and then I just take with the bishop and it's a checkmate. So not king f7, suppose here we look at another option. Instead of king f7, king f8. Now let's say you go bishop g6, threatening a mate in 1. So he goes rook f7, you go check, king e7, and now you bring your queen to b8, threatening check and picking up the rook. So let's say he moves the rook here to f8, and then comes what? White to move. Try to find what is the move that gives you the advantage. What is the move that gives you an advantage? Khushi, not queen c8, because after king b6, it's difficult to coordinate your bishop and queen. But if you give a check from c4, then the bishop can come to c8. So you have to use your pieces, both of them, well. Very good. You guys are alert. Queen d6 is a checkmate. So in a way, this game would have been really in Nihal's hand, would have gone off from India's hands, also Nihal's hand, if opponent would have taken this. But he quickly moved here, and now guys, you are in Nihal's shoes, you are playing for Team India. What do you do here? Black to move. Think. Yes, it's a mate. I just made queen d6 advantage as a fun question, and it was a mate. Now, here, Nihal was so quick. Here you can get nervous. You can think, oh my god, the rook is hanging. What should I do? But he found it. Very good, guys. All those who said knight into g3. It's a mate, by the way, so you have to pick up the knight. And then queen h1. Checkmate. King is mated. Only the bishop can come in between and you take. What a game, right? What a game by Nihal. I think hats off to his fighting abilities. Not giving up. Who would have imagined that from that position here, where he was 2 pawns down with no compensation, he could checkmate the king. That's what you learn. Never give up. Never give up. That's the most important thing you should learn from this. By the way, there are several other games, but one we'll see is of Vishy Anand, because Anand is really a very interesting moment, and I want to see how many of you can find that move in this game. So here is the point. Anand is playing with white pieces against Abdusattorov. Abdusattorov is a very talented youngster from Uzbekistan who's just 15 or 16 years old, I think 15 years old. And he has managed to, he was completely losing but managed to gain some play, and he is threatening a mate here. Mate, guys. So how should white save here? What should Anand play? Let's see. How many of you can find the move? Lejo Verghese says, why doesn't Nihal get the love that Prag gets? Well, that's a very tricky question, because I feel there are so many fans of Nihal and there are so many fans of Prag. So if you ask this question to Nihal fans, they'll be like, what? We do love him so much. And then, so I mean, in general, I don't think Nihal gets lesser love than him. Okay, rook a1 I can see, rook a2 I can see, rook a3 I can see, a7 I can see. Very good. Let me see any other moves. Everyone says rook a1. Guys, rook a1, there's a good news and a bad news. The good news is that if you play rook a1, it's the wrong move. But sorry, the bad news is it's a wrong move. The good news is that you make the same move as Vishy Anand. Devansh Gadvi says, Nihal's was the best game from viewers from yesterday, I feel. Great analysis. Looking forward to today. Much love. Thank you, Devansh. I didn't read Sahil, sir, because I think he wanted to say Sagar. But okay. All those who say a7, guys, look at one move ahead. If you go a7, then black gives a check. You go up, check, here, check. Oh my god, it's a perpetual. You can't do anything. You can keep playing this for the rest of your life. So, not a7. Now, all those who said rook a1, this is the move Anand played. But look at the problem. Check, king here, and now came king b6. Vishal Parashar says Nihal's game is the closest that comes to common man's chess. Blunder pe blunder and staying till the end, waiting for the opponent to blunder. Absolutely, Vishal. But it was really very complicated. King b6 was played in the game, and here Vishy got really flustered because he cannot save the pawn. If he pushes, the problem is check, king moves, and he loses the rook and then eventually the pawn. Scale Tail says, Sagar bhai, yesterday commentary was epic. Aaj notations thoda slow bolna with arrows if possible will be more easy, and damn excited about today's match. And even Judith ma'am is coming on Surya's channel. Yes, Judith and Surya is going to be amazing. I think Leko is going to come tomorrow. So Surya doing some fantastic work. So from this you understand. And yeah, Scale Tail, we'll try to go slow. I'll tell Adiban about this. But you know, so many games to cover, you have to speed up all the time. Here it is important to actually play the move rook a2, not rook a3, because rook a3 means check, here check. It's again a perpetual. The king has no way to get out. Pratik Das says Vidit versus Lake Wong Liam analysis. Yes, we'll try, Pratik. We'll try to show. But I want to also show you one video which is very interesting. Rook a2. This is what would have won the game. It's very close, but you know, the point is after check, king here. Now if you give a check, I come back, there are no more checks in the position. So you play the move king b6 like in the game. But now comes a7, and when you give a check, I come king b3, and I'm able to protect my rook. Not the rook, if it was on a1, it's not protected. Raghav Gadi Hoke. Is Anand going through a dip in form? I don't think it's a dip in form. I feel that Anand is playing well. In general, today will be the day when we'll see more of his games. We'll be able to say that better. But I don't think there's any dip in form. Now, if takes, you take the pawn, then this endgame is losing because king b3. Now I'm coming in. So you must go king b6. I am coming in. You must stop me. I'm coming in. You must stop me. And now h4. This is the move, waiting move. And now you see this is all blocked. If the king goes here, I can come in and I pick up the pawns. If the king goes to e6, I go to c5, and you're going to lose all your pawns here. Next, I'm going to come here and I'm going to win. And this is just lost. So Anand, if you would have found rook a2, we would have 6-0 against Uzbekistan. So rook a1, check, king b6, rook g1, and at the end it was a draw. Yeah, somehow the game ended in a draw. And so I have a feeling that this was not a great result for Vichy, but okay, 5.5 points, we'll take it any day. And so if you look at this image here that I have of all the players, let me just enlarge it a bit so you can see. It may even cover me for now, but I'm not that important. No, let me not cover, because then it looks funny, yeah, if you cover me. So this is Anand, Harikrishna, Vidit, Arvind, Nihal, Prag, Hampi, Harika, Bhakti, Vaishali, Vantika, and Divya. And these are the real champions and warriors of our country. And we're so proud that they are representing our team. So much pressure. I think we should support them. Just like, in cricket, what I found is when I used to follow it. Thank you, Devansh Gadvi. Pratik Das, also King D5 missed by Hari. Yes, that endgame was really cool. What I have found is that when cricket becomes popular, a lot of people, when the players do well, make them into gods, and when they don't do well, they kind of abuse them. They say, what, you are like a traitor and stuff like this. And I hope that something like this doesn't happen with chess when it's becoming popular. I think we have to respect the players for all they do. We have to love them, and remember that they are all giving their 100% and they're giving their best. That's the thing. Dhruval Thakkar, love the stream, Sagar. You are a great chess teacher and a great commentator. Loved your commentary on Samay's channel yesterday. India OP. Thank you so much, Dhruval. And please do join in today for the commentary on Adiban's channel. It will be even more fun. There's going to be Tanya, Soumya, Samay, me. I don't know how 5 people can speak simultaneously, but it will be fun to find out what happens. So here is Hari Krishna's game. Ooh, Zeus, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for that. That's a big super chat. My long due super chat. Well, thank you. Very grateful for you for sending $100. That's a big amount. So here Hari Krishna played 95 and his opponent played bishop takes e5. And after fe5, what is the move for black? Now this endgame you will learn a lot from this. Try to think. Black to move. Black to move in this position. This, you have to learn to calculate in pawn endgames. Pawn endgames, you cannot just do like, oh, I know it, I know, I'll play this and I'll play that and stuff like this. What you have to see is the concepts. First of all, king e6 was played in the game, and this is a blunder because of Hari Krishna's move h4. And you will see this is Zugzwang position. Why is it a Zugzwang? Let's try to understand. First of all, if king e7, then white goes in. Hari Krishna didn't play this move, but this is winning. Okay, I think what Hari was afraid of was that at some point black may break with g5 and try to create a passed pawn. But the problem is that after h4, the king comes back and catches the pawn. And also one more thing to note is that two pawns, when they are just separated by one file, can support each other. How? By playing g6. And you see these two pawns are supporting each other. You can't, so if h3 takes, h2 go here, so the king stops, and you can't take this pawn because this will queen, and you can't go near this pawn because this pawn is saying, "Arey, ye to mera bhai hai, my brother, I won't give it." So, two pawns are like brothers. They are like, I will not let you come in. So here black, this is a position. Now let's understand the concept of reciprocal Zugzwang. What is the concept of reciprocal Zugzwang? This seems like a physics class, yeah, or mathematics class. This position is a position of reciprocal Zugzwang. Why? And what does it mean? Can anyone explain to me what is reciprocal Zugzwang? It's also known as mutual Zugzwang, yeah. Who can tell me? And first of all, who can tell me what is a Zugzwang? And then we come. Zugzwang, I will explain. Zugzwang means any move in this position that black makes, because it's black to move, he will lose. Zug means move. Zwang means you don't have a good move in that position. It's a German term. Okay? Zugzwang. Now, Padmanabh Falke says 1 upon Zugzwang. Yes, if it is black to move, white is winning, and vice versa. Exactly. Sikkan says Anand ji endgame में इतना क्यों खराब खेलते हैं? I will change the words. क्या उनको संन्यास ले लेना चाहिए? Very good question. But first of all, he doesn't play so bad in the end games. He plays well. You've seen, I think many end games he's played pretty well recently. Also against Ali Reza from Vaikanze, if you check it out. And whether he should take retirement or not, I think is entirely his decision. And very importantly, he should play until he considers it appropriate, because still Anand plays. It's a big boost for chess in India always. So I would be very happy if he doesn't retire soon, and someone can, reach top 10 in the world, be invited to regular super tournaments in India. That is no one except for Anand now. So let someone reach there and Anand can be there for India. That would be amazing. So here, if you see, it's a position of reciprocal Zugzwang. If it is white to move, this position is a draw. If it is black to move, black loses. Now in the game, Hari should have played king d5, because here he is just winning. He played unnecessarily king f4 here in this position, and then that didn't help him. So my point is that if here it was white to move, why is this a draw? Let's assume I play the move king d4. Now you will see that after g5 takes h4. Now these two are bhai brothers, but the problem is the brothers are not yet in sync. g6 would mean they both care for each other, but here they are still enemies. They are like, we are brothers, but we are going to fight each other. We want property. Okay, so, and this pawn, so if you get a time to play this, it would be great. But the problem is this pawn is running just because the king is one square away. If it was on e4, you could have come back, but now you can't stop the pawn. So white says, hey, I have to rush to stop the pawn. But black says, okay, I'm going. And now you lose the pawn, right? Because the king can stop it. And so it becomes a draw after king g3, king f5, takes. So that is the reason why you realize that in this position, it was very important to start off with what move for black? King e7. You'll be like, what? Why king e7? Because the threat now is to play g5. Okay? And if he plays h4, I play king e6, and we reach the position of reciprocal Zugzwang, this time with opponent's move, white to move. And if white plays king d4, we know g5 draws. If he goes king f4, then already I don't think this position you can win. I believe that here king d5 should be okay. Now you must go king g5, takes, king g6, king d4, king h5, king c3, king g6, king b3, h5, king a4, h6. It's the game continuation, correct? This is what happened in the game. Take here, take here, take h5, take h6. And actually Hari Krishna was lucky that he didn't lose this position. He is pawn down now. Somehow he managed to save. So guys, is the concept of Zugzwang and reciprocal Zugzwang clear? Manush Shah says Anand will be always a legend. I agree. And basically Anand has popularized chess to such an extent that Indian chess is where it is today, because if there was one man who should get the credit for that, it's him. Pratik Das says Firuza not playing from Iran due to conflict with authorities of not playing with Israeli players. Do you think this harms young players in long-term development and playing for nation difficult? I think yes. In fact, I was at the World Juniors where the Iranian team, there were 3 players. There was Amin Tabatabai, there was Aryan Gholami, and there was someone else. I think these 2 were there. Yeah, there was this girl. And there from Israel, there was this player called Or Bronstein. And every time that Israel was paired against an Iranian player, the Iranian players would not turn up because there is a conflict, there's a war going on between these 2 countries, there's a problem. And so the country says, the Iranian government says, if you go and play there and you can't shake hands, you cannot shake hands. And if you kind of don't shake hands, then the FIDE will punish you. And there are all these complexities over there. And a player like Firuza, who's so talented, imagine he's playing in a tournament like World Rapid and Blitz, and suddenly he's paired against, say, a player like Gelfand. Suddenly he's paired against Sutowski or Maxim Rodstein. All these top Israeli players. And then suddenly he has to forfeit the game. For what? For something that is political in nature. And so he said, rather than having this stress in every tournament that I go, I'll just not play from Iranian country. And then he's missing out on opportunities. But I think Iran missed out on keeping a future world champion with them. That's the big loss. UDT Dave, thank you. Pratik Vaishak Murlidharan, great question, buddy. Yeah, and basically I feel that such problems should not come in between a sports player and politics. Politics creates the maximum issue for sports players, and somehow they should be separated. But in real world you can't, because in a way you're representing the country, everyone is following you, and it's a mess. Okay, so this game Hari Krishna played here king f4, which was a mistake. He should have gone king d5, and then it was a draw. Okay guys, so that was about today. Let's look at whom we are playing. Yeah, that was about yesterday. Let's look at whom we are playing today. By the way, this is the cross table. I'm going to try and share my screen with you guys so that you can see. I also want to give you a video to show. So first of all, let me get off the standings. Let's take out the black screen. Let's go here. And let's go to FIDE Olympiad chess results. I think this one should be good. This one is the incomplete link. One second. By the way, guys, let's go from here. chessbase.in. This is the first day article on ChessBase India by me. Flawless show by Team India. So please read it out. Read it later. All the positions with analysis, pictures, and everything is here. I sat for quite some time to analyze these things, put them so that you get a complete feel of what happened. Here's Nihal's game against Nguyen An Khoi, and with analysis. So if you want a complete roundup, this is where you go and check. I think you will enjoy it a lot. And today's commentary here at Adiban's channel. By the way, yesterday there were close to 30,000 people watching. Anaga Sinkar says, "Hi Coach Sagar, would love to see chat games analyzed someday." Maybe I should do one session where you guys send me your games and we can analyze them. I do it on Dr. Chess, but I can only do it with limited people. So here is chess results. From here, let's look at today's pairing. So team pairings of all rounds. If you see here, let's have a look. India is playing Indonesia first. Then we are playing against Iran. And lastly, we are playing against Mongolia. These are the three teams that we are playing. So let's first have a look at Indonesian team. Who are they in the team? So here is, I think, chess composition with round results. Mainak Mitra to teach at an academy. Yes, Mainak, in talks, something will happen on that front. Indonesia here. So if you look here, Indonesia's team, in fact, they are very good friends of mine because I have traveled to Indonesia and there was the entire team who trained with Jakob Agard when I was there. So first of all, Megaranto Susanto, very strong player, but he's been in 2500 since a long time. So right now, he's not at the peak of his game, but he's a strong GM. Youngsters, you have Tahir Yosef Theophilus. He's a good IM. Irene Sukhandar Irene is a very strong player. So I think women board, they are very strong. Olia Medina and Sukhandar Irene, they both have been very strong players playing for Indonesia. You have Fisibila Umi, who's going to play in women girls junior, and Tarigan Gilbert Elroy, who is in boys junior. So these two, I think girls and boys will have good chances there because they are not as strong as I believe, say, Pragnananda or Vantika or Divya and Nihal. Priyas Moro is a brilliant player. He recently became a GM. I think he may play. He's very tactical in nature. There is Firman Siad Farid, Shite Chelsea Monica, but I think these two will play today with India. Irene and Medina, but Irene lost both her games yesterday. Ooh. There is Singhi Dajeng Teresa, didn't hear of her. Oh, and Arfan Aditya Bagus is here. You know, the young boy, I met him in Indonesia when I went there. He was so young and he always used to like hold my hand and put it on his head like this as a respect. You know, they do it there. They take your hand, like they do this, and then they touch their head with your hand, giving respect. And now he's in the team. Amazing. Latifa Laisa. CM is candidate master. You get it if your rating is 2200. Okay, so Indonesia, I believe India will win because we have a clear superiority on each board. But then coming to Iran, I think first board will be a tense game with Parham playing against Anand, maybe. Gayam Maghami Ehsan is the first chess legend of Iran, like the first GM, if I'm not mistaken. Very strong player, but now he has been overshadowed by other youngsters. So I have a feeling that Amin Tabatabai may play instead of Gayam Maghami, but let's see what happens. If Firuza was here, the team would have been so much better. There is Sara Khadem Sharia. She's 2.5 on 3. She will be a big threat. Humpy should play her. Alina Saab is, as I said, world junior. She won, I think, the silver medal after Polina Shovalova, and she is on 1 out of 2. So the women's board will be intense. Junior board also intense because Aryan Gholami is a GM, and he will face maybe Prag or Nihal. But Prag, Nihal are better than him, I feel, somehow, somewhere. We'll see. Anahita Zahedi Far. Oh, I don't know this girl. maybe this will be interesting. By the way, you see Iran has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players only, not 12. And then we are playing against Mongolia. Again, I think Iran we have superiority. Against Mongolia we have Bilgun Sumia, youngster, GM, and Munkul Gombo Suren, again a strong player. Women players Muntgul Baktuyag and Bachimeg Tushintuks they are good players. They are good women players. And Batsarun Damba Suren is a youngster, upcoming. Maybe will give a tough fight there. And Bayas Galan Kishi Batar, young girl, I am not sure who she is. Also Nasan Jargal Urtnasan is a good GM. These are all the names which are so difficult to pronounce. Agibileg Utsaik is a decent player. And also Amar Tushin, he was here in World Juniors. I think he's a good player. Yeah, Pratik, that's a good suggestion. If FIDE organizes FIDE versus rest of the world, possible, but I don't think they would do that. Mungzul Dawaku is also a decent player here. So yeah, that's Mongolia. I think we should have 3 wins today, nothing less, because last day, guys, is the critical one. When we'll be streaming on ChessBase India, it will be with Germany, strong team, China, another strong team, and Georgia, amazing team. So this is going to be tough. Okay, so that's what we are looking forward to today. And before we leave, I wanted to show you a small clip of what the Olympiad would have been if it was not India versus USA 2018 Olympiad ChessBase India. Just to show you guys what it was like if it was a real Olympiad. Here's it. Second, let me switch on the sound. So this was me traveling from my hotel to the playing hall in the van. This is India versus USA that day, round 4. This is in Batumi, Georgia, and Amruta is with me.
Welcome everyone to the 4th round of the Batumi Olympiad 2018. It's the all-important clash, India versus America. And we are on our way to the tournament hall in the same bus as the American team.
And look at
you a
the
glimpse
arrangements
of the city of
make
Batumi.
for an actual Olympiad. It's the biggest, I think, hall over there in Batumi. Very big stadium and so many entrances because players from 190 plus countries were playing there. It's a festival, guys. It's beautiful. That's Fabi. So I was in the same bus. There's Nakamura.
Coming out from the van first is Fabiano Caruana, followed by Hikaru Nakamura. Next comes Lotus Key, mother of Wesley So, Anna Zatonsky, Jennifer Yu, Tateva Braham, and Wesley So. Wesley So says to us, and Shankland after him, and John Donaldson.
There's an audio lag. Okay, sorry. Let me fix that. So Wesley said to us, don't spy on us, because it was India versus USA.
Wesley's words to us were, stop spying on us.
Look at USA in their
pat
blue
on the back
coat.
From his foster mother, Wesley goes inside the tournament hall with the American team.
And inside the hall, so then I went in, and then I would be there for the start. Before the round, there's zero tolerance. If you're not on the board when the games begin, you lose. So basically everyone is in the hallway before time. This is Anand, Hari Krishna, and RB Ramesh, who's the coach of the team.
Inside the tournament hall, we have Vishy Anand.
And here actually it was very funny. Like Vishy speaks to Ramesh about something about me recording or something. It was funny.
Ramesh and Hari Krishna talking to each other. Anand has certain comments to make about us, but I have to ask him after the game, what was he saying? And Here we have Wesley So getting some things ready before the game. The far end we have Caruana wiping his glasses.
Look at the this is just first hall, so there are only 60-70 teams here. Then there is another hall, and it's
Hikaru Nakamura is also here. Hari Krishna and Wesley shake hands with each other, and so does Ramesh. It's going to be a match between Hari Krishna and Wesley So, which is going to be very.
and so this is the coach. He's John Donaldson. He's an IM, very famous IM in America. Look how he's taking care. He's giving water to everyone. Also, Ramesh would do that for our players. And you see here, I have actually shot the entire thing. But and yeah, this is the Dutch team.
He was
So
there
what Vidit would do is he would hang out with his Dutch friends before the game.
with Anish Giri, Erwin Lamy, and Jordan Van Forest. And they all have a nice time. It helps with it to be himself here. He relaxes, his good friends, gets into the right frame of mind. And that's what they are joking about. Vidit goes back to the board. And here you can see Anand gets a gift.
Sometimes at the Olympiad, you meet so many people from different countries, and for them, Anand is like a god. If someone is coming from a country where chess is not very popular and they are following chess and they see, oh, Vishy Anand, 5-time world champion, at the Olympiad, we'll meet him. So they bring gifts for him. So they give him, here is someone who gave him an
Gift
old
from someone,
photograph.
some photographs, old photographs.
By the way, do you know who this guy is? This is Ubilawa, one of Anand's trainer. Like our first was Gurevich, and after that Ubilawa, and they have maintained relations ever since. And the language in which Anand speaks with Ubilawa, I think mostly Spanish.
Sokolo pats him on the back. Also his old trainer Elisbar Ubilawa. Anand, so many people here, so many fans of Vishy. He keeps getting gifts, and as you can see now, he gets someone comes there to ask him to pose for a photograph.
It's very difficult for him to focus many times, but that's the thing about Anand. You guys need to understand what a great legend he is.
Well, he is a star here, and of course people want to take pictures and autographs of him. He gives his photographs
He's a very
to
famous
Ramesh, that's
Anantraman,
sir. He's one of
arbiter.
India's most experienced arbiters.
By the way, today, we are
Can see
going to
to
play Parham here. He is here. Parham Maksudlu even.
Get to the inside the arena, it's so difficult because
Vidit versus Nakamura. I think it ended in a draw.
everyone is going to follow this match. It's the most important match today, India versus America. Charudatta
By the way, you see Charudatta Jadhav, he is the founder of All India Chess Federation of the Blind. He is also IBCA, International Braille Chess Association president, and he had come to meet the team, and he
there
meets
we have
Vidit
Charudatta Jadhav,
because Vidit is
president
the
of
brand
IBCA
ambassador
and also All India
Blind
Chess
Chess.
Federation, meeting the brand ambassador of the All India Chess Federation of the Blind, Vidit Gujarati, wishing him good luck.
By the way, Charudatta's story is very inspiring. Do check it out on ChessBase India. He's blind. He's, I think, the first rated player from blind chess in India, and he is also working in TCS at a very top level. I can't believe how he manages. He can't see a thing, but he just does everything. Amazing person. That's
In
Shashi
comes
Kiran.
Shashi Kiran, wears his suit. He's the guy whom I really love to watch before the games. So intense, so concentrated, just the perfect person to imbibe these qualities of focus. He wears his Indian jacket and sits on his chair.
It's a voiceover. Of course,
He's
I
playing
can't
with
talk
the white
over there.
pieces against
Yes, of
Shanklin.
course.
It's going to be an interesting game. What is going to happen here? And Shashi puts his hands around his head.
Look at the focus.
That's his favorite pose. That's what he likes. You can see a little bit ahead with the game. We just show you the atmosphere here of the tournament hall. You can see it's a huge arena. There are stands there. People can sit there and watch the game. So many people.
Yeah, games begin. Everyone plays like
And the
on
games have begun.
it's so sometimes, like one board is winning, one is losing, one there is a draw, then some fourth board has to, and you're looking, each player is looking at their board. It's so intense when it's happening here. I just hope that the Olympiad next year happens. This year it's the online Olympiad. You can already see the interest is huge, but when it happens at the place, it's even more amazing. Then I just go and analyze the game. You can check, actually I did this for every round. In fact, if you go back here, I did it for Russia, then against some other team. So please check this out, you will like it. And I hope that all of you will follow today the match on Adiban's channel for the Olympiad. Here is his videos, I think Chess Olympiad. Just go there, like the stream. Maybe you can set a reminder here at 1:30 p.m. There'll be me, Tanya, Adiban, Samay and Soumya. So it'll be great fun, guys. See you there, and let's hope India wins. Any question? Yes, it's like Olympics. There was even Ivory Coast. I mean, there was every team. In fact, I remember I, in fact, interviewed someone from Iraq, and this girl. In Iraq, your life is always in danger. And this lady
Hello, can you?
says about the situation in Iraq, how dangerous it is. I got to meet so many different people. I even interviewed someone from Ivory Coast, and it was unbelievable. These players.
Can you?
He is the guy who's from Ivory Coast. He was talking about what chess is there over there. Interviewing these people. And then this little girl comes in who says, I want to become the world champion. I want to become a strong player. And there's a lot of very interesting stuff that happened there. Yes, webinar at 12 of PSPB. That's what I have to prepare for. So I will get ready and see you there, guys. Thank you all for turning up today and enjoying this session. It was wonderful to be with you, and I'll be there tomorrow as well. And today I'll do the roundup videos and everything. Take care. Bye bye.